Hi everyone! Welcome to Move Everywhere Ryerson's virtual fitness classes. My name is Lindsay and I'll be guiding you through your 45-minute morning yoga class today. Please feel free to take water breaks at any time and I'll offer lots of modifications. You can also choose to have your camera on or off. If you do have it on, that means I can give you some live feedback while we're in practice together, but you're welcome to keep it off as well. And then we'll get started lying down on our backs on our mats here. So just head on down to your back. Get nice and comfortable. If you do have a mat, I'd suggest taking your feet about as wide as your mat. If you don't have a mat to use as guidance, feel free to take your feet a little wider than your hips. And then option here to either rest your palms on your lower belly or take your hands out beside you, palms facing up. Feel free to either close your eyes or just bring them to a soft gaze. Take a few moments to just breathe into your entire body. And then as you stay in stillness here, we'll take a moment to scan through the entire length of our bodies from toe to head. So starting with your feet, perhaps give your toes a little wiggle. Notice how your heels root down into the floor. Scan up through your ankles and the backs of your calves. And then notice the backs of your knees where there might be a tiny soft bend there. Bring some awareness to the backs of your thighs. Notice which parts of your thighs come into contact with the floor underneath you. And then scan up to your glutes. Notice if you might be unintentionally clenching here. Try to let that go. If you're not quite sure, feel free to give them an active squeeze and then let them be heavy down into the floor. Breathe now into your lower belly. Notice any extra space you might be creating between your hip bones. And then scan up through the length of your spine, starting with your lower back. There may be just the tiniest breath of air between your lower back and the floor. That's the natural curvature of your spine. And then continue scanning upwards through your middle back, your upper back, and the backs of your shoulders. Breathe out through the length of your arms, all the way out to your palms and your fingertips. Feel free to give your fingers a little wiggle here as well. And then bring your awareness back to your torso to scan up through the back of your neck and the base of your skull. It might feel good to just gently rock your head side to side here, getting a little massage for the base of your skull. And then let your head come to rest in center. On your last few breaths here, just bring some awareness to your jaw. It's very common for us to be clenching our teeth. So if that's happening for you, just bring a tiny little space between your teeth to allow the muscles of your face to relax. And then take 3 deep breaths into your whole body. As you let this next breath go, slowly draw your right knee in towards your chest, just clasping either behind your right thigh or your right shin. Take a moment to invite some small circles into your right hip socket. So drawing some circles with your right kneecap. Taking one more in this direction, and then pause. And take a few circles in the other direction. Still letting your femur bone, your thigh bone, be heavy in the hip socket. One last circle this way. And then clasp your hands again onto your right leg. Take an inhale. And then on your exhale, hug your right knee closer in towards your chest. Inhale to release. Exhale on the effort of drawing your right knee closer in. Take 2 more like that. As you release this next breath, just keep gently hugging your right knee in. And then on your exhale, extend your right leg long down your mat again. Taking a moment to pause between sides, just seeing if anything feels different from your right leg compared to your left. When you're ready, slowly draw your left knee in towards your chest, clasping wherever feels comfortable. As you feel ready, start drawing those little circles in one direction. And it's okay here if things feel different on this side compared to the first side. Take one more circle in this direction, and then pause to reverse the circular motion. Take one more this way. And then gently place both hands back on your shin or your thigh to hug your knee into your chest. Inhale here. And then exhale, place just a little bit of extra pressure on that left leg. Inhale, let it go. And exhale to hug in. Take 2 more like that with your own breath. Take an inhale here as you let a little pressure off of that left leg. And then exhale to extend your left leg long down your mat again. Take a moment to pause in your Shavasana, corpse pose. And just notice how things feel from one side compared to the other. Last bit of work here before we come up to all fours. Hug your right knee into your chest again. And right away, take your left hand onto your right thigh and draw your right thigh across your body any amount here. It's okay if your right knee doesn't touch the floor. We're actually looking for the back of your right shoulder to still stay rooted down. If you feel okay here, option to take your gaze over your right shoulder and then just breathe into your right ribs. Take one more deep breath in. And then on your exhale, use as little effort as possible to slowly come back to center. Make any adjustments you need. And then slowly draw your left knee back in towards your chest. Place your right hand on your left thigh to draw your left knee across your body. If it feels good to you here, of course, you can take your gaze over your left shoulder, focusing here on rooting down through the back of your left shoulder in this twist. Take one more deep breath in. And then use your exhale to slowly come back to center. Perhaps take your arms up overhead, take a full body stretch. And from there, just turn onto one side, doesn't matter which one. Use your bottom arm like a pillow, and your top hand can just rest on the floor. Take a deep breath in. And then use your exhale to press yourself up to a seated position, and right away we'll come to all fours. So your knees are right underneath your hips, hands are outer shoulder distance apart. You have a nice flat back here, long spine. From here we'll come into a few rounds of cat-cow, so take a deep breath in, let your belly fall towards the floor, tailbone up to where the ceiling meets the wall behind you. And then exhale to reverse that motion, hug your belly button into your spine, crown of your head down towards the floor. Move with your own breath here. Inhale back to your cow. And then exhale through to your cat. Take one more round each way, moving slowly, articulating each part of your spine. And then when you're ready, come back to that nice long spine in your tabletop position. Now we'll take right leg behind us. Pause here with your right toe still on the floor. When you're ready, on your exhale, lift your right foot off of the floor, lots of energy through that right heel, and nothing changes through your lower back. So your spine is still long here. Feel free to stay here, or option to take your left arm up overhead, finding your full Superman pose. And just notice which muscles turn on here to help you stay stable. Take one more deep breath in, and then exhale, right knee, left hand back down. If you need a break for your wrists, feel free to sit back on your heels, give them a little bit of a circle, and when you're ready, we'll come back to repeat the same thing, left side. So left leg comes long behind you. Take a moment to pause here with your left toes on the mat. When you're ready, exhale, lift your left leg off the floor. Left knee is almost fully straight. Feel free to stay here or float your right arm up overhead as well. Working here to keep your spine nice and long. We're not taking a cat or a cow pose with your spine here. Take one more deep breath in. And then exhale, lower arm and leg down. Curl both toes, or both sets of toes under. Press down through your hands and all 10 toes. Hover your knees just an inch off the mat. So you're just lifting that same tabletop position an inch or so higher. You might feel your lower core start to engage here. Take one more deep breath in. And then exhale, send your hips up and back to downward dog. So your feet are hip distance here. You're sending your tailbone up to where the ceiling meets the wall behind you. And then press your chest between your arms. Feel free to pedal out through your legs
or shift your hips side to side, whatever would feel good in your first downward dog of the day. Take one more deep breath in, and then bend your knees, look forward between your hands, come all the way to the top of your mat, hanging heavy over your legs. So keep your knees as bent as you need to, maybe even resting your bellies on your thighs. Take one more deep breath in, and then exhale, press all the way up to standing. Last thing to come up is your head. And when you get there, roll your shoulders up, back, and down. I'll just face you for the next little section. So you'll come to your Tadasana mountain pose, feet right underneath you. You'll reach your arms up overhead. And I'm going to mirror you here. So slide your shoulders down your back, take a deep breath in, reach up and over to your right. Trying to keep both hips and both shoulders equally facing forward. Take one more deep breath in. And then exhale, press down, come up. You can bend your knees, bend your elbows, give your head a little shake side to side. And then come back up tall. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, up and over to your left. Take one more deep breath in here. And then exhale, press down. Come up, release your hands. I'll show you the next one from this side. Still in your Tadasana position. Bring your hands to imaginary jeans pockets behind you. Squeeze your elbows together. Keep a soft little bend in your knees. Take a deep breath in. On your exhale, just lift up through your chest. Take one more deep breath in, see if you can lift your chest a little closer to the ceiling. And then exhale, press your way back up. Bring your hands to your hips and slowly hinge forward all the way back down to your forward fold. Take one more deep breath in at the bottom, and then exhale, press down through your feet, slowly come all the way up. And then from your Tadasana again, once you've come nice and tall, we'll find our chair pose. So feet are hip distance, all 10 toes facing forward. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale like you're skiing down a hill. Send your bum back, arms down beside you. So we really want the weight to be in your heels here. Take a look down past your knees. If you can't see all 10 of your toes, send the weight a little further back into your heels. Option to keep your arms here, or in front of your chest, or for a little bit more work through your upper body, option to take your arms up overhead. Take one more deep breath in, maybe sink a tiny bit deeper. And then exhale, fold over your legs. Take one more deep breath in at the bottom. And then exhale, press down slowly, come all the way up. If you're not already there, come to the top of your mat. Still in your Tadasana position, we'll take a few really slow warm-ups for our spine here. So inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, slide your palms halfway up your shins to a flat back position, just like you had when you were in your tabletop. And then exhale, fold again. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, press down, slowly come all the way up. 2 more times like that. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, dive forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, fold. Inhale at the bottom. And then exhale, press down. Slowly stack one vertebrae on top of the previous one. Last time through. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold again. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, press down. Slowly come all the way up. And give your shoulders a little roll up, back, and down when you get there. I'll show you the next one facing you, and again I'll mirror you. So still from your Tadasana position, we're coming into tree pose. Bring your hands to your hips. Root down through your left foot, come onto your right toes. Open your right knee to the side. From here, you can stay here or bring your right foot up to your left shin or to your inner thigh. We just want to keep hips in line side to side here, so don't bring your legs so far up that your hip comes with it. You can keep your hands on your hips or bring them together in front of your chest. Take one more deep breath in. And then on your exhale, turn your right knee forward, pause here, step your right foot back to a high lunge. I'll show you this way as well. So you're stepping back to a high lunge, feet are hip distance side to side. And you can choose to sweep your arms up overhead. If you feel okay here, option to interlace your hands behind your lower back. And then find a gentle lift through your chest. Take one more breath in. And then exhale, bring your arms back up overhead. Bend both knees and step yourself forward to your Tadasana. Do the same thing, second side. So root down through your right foot this time, come onto your left toes, open your left knee to the side. Stay here, toes tap down, or slide your left foot up to the right height for you on your right leg. Use your hands on your hips for a moment to just help adjust them, keep them in line side to side. And then you can take your palms together in front of you. Take one more deep breath in. And then exhale, turn your left knee forward. Step your left foot back to that high lunge. I'll come and show you from this side again. So both hips are equally facing forward. You've got enough space between your feet that you feel stable. And then when you're ready, sweep your arms up. If you took that chest lift on the first side, perhaps try it again here as well. So you can clasp your hands behind your lower back, work your elbows towards straight, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and then maybe lift your chest a little closer to the ceiling. Take one more deep breath in. And then exhale, release your arms up overhead. When you're ready, bend both knees, step yourself forward to the top of your mat. Maybe roll your shoulders up, back, and down, and we'll make our way down to the mats now. So from here, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, dive over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. From here, bend your knees, plant your hands, step back to a high plank. So your shoulders are right on top of your wrists, lots of energy out through your heels, and your hips should be in line with your shoulders. Take one more breath in, and then press forward through your toes so your shoulders come past your wrists. Lower your knees down. Before you bend your elbows, spin them a little bit forward so your elbows will hug beside your waist. As you slowly lower, chest leads. This will be the hard part. And then let yourself come all the way down. Keep your hands underneath your shoulders here. We'll find a baby cobra. So plant the tops of your feet down. When you're ready, take a deep breath in. Pull your chest forward and up. Still keeping the back of your neck long. Take one more breath in here. Option to float your hands off the mat to isolate the muscles of your lower back. And then exhale, slowly lower. From here, press yourself up through all fours. And then curl your toes under. Send your hips up and back to your downward dog. Again, feel free to pedal out through your feet or take any other little movements that would feel good. Take one more breath in. And then on your exhale, you'll actually lower your knees down. Come back to all fours. Take your knees about as wide as your mat. Big toes come to touch. Send your bum back to your heels. Extend your arms long in front of you. Take one more deep breath in. And then on your exhale, slide your hands underneath your shoulders so you can press yourself up to seated. Come onto one bum cheek and swing your legs around. We'll come into a boat pose here. So your feet will still be on the floor. Take a moment to adjust here. You want to have your sit bones rooted down into the ground. So that's the bony part of your bum. You can clasp behind your thighs here, come onto your big toes. From here, just start to lean back slightly, starting to extend your arms. This might be enough, so start here. Option to then float one foot, and then maybe the other foot. Never losing that little lift in your chest. So we want to avoid having a curve through your spine here. Use the strength of your arms to help you keep your chest lifted. Take one more breath in here. And then exhale, bring your toes down. We'll take a little break in a butterfly stretch, so soles of your feet together, knees apart. And we'll do a second round of our boat pose in a moment. So give your inner thighs, your hip flexors a little break here with your butterfly stretch. And then when you're ready, use your hands on the outsides of your knees to close your knees like a book. Come back to that same setup. So move the fleshy part of your bum out of the way if you need to come onto your sit bones. Find that little lift of your chest and lean back. Stay here, or option to bring one foot, then maybe the other. If you'd like to take it up another notch, option 2, float one hand, maybe the other. Or you can keep your hands on the backs of your thighs and try straightening one leg and then maybe the other. Final option here is to keep your legs extended and then try to float your hands. Wherever you are, take one more big breath in. And then exhale, hands to your thighs. Come forward again to that little butterfly stretch. That was your last little burst of work before we come into the more relaxing part of class. So from here, close your knees like a book one more time. Send your heels forward. We're coming to a seated forward fold. So if you have really tight hamstrings or some lower back stiffness, feel free to keep your knees a little bent here. You could slide blocks or a blanket underneath your knees as well. Let's all start with our fingertips out beside us, nice tall spine. From here, start to walk your fingertips forward, keeping that long spine. So you might not get very far. Take one more deep breath here. Then on your exhale, now start to invite that curve through your spine. Really hinge yourself forward over your legs. And don't worry so much about whether you can touch your toes. Try to let your head, arms, and torso be heavy. So you can see I have my forearms rested on my shins here. Take one more deep breath in. And then use your exhale and your fingertips beside you to start walking yourself back up to seated. Then just bend your knees again, soles of your feet to the floor. Scoot yourself forward so you have enough room behind you to recline. Extend your arms forward, lift up through your chest, just like you did in your boat pose. And then slowly hinge yourself all the way back. Breathing through that little earthquake that might happen right around here. And then come all the way down. Hug your knees into your chest. Feel free to take a little rock and roll side to side. And then when you're ready, come back to stillness. Plant both feet down on the mat, as if you were setting up for a bridge pose. From here, press down through your heels, lift your hips just enough to scooch them over to the left, put your bum back down, and let your knees fall to the right. So hips to the left, knees to the right. Take a moment to feel what will be most comfortable for your legs. You can stack your joints. You can play with how far your legs are extended or how close they are in. But just like in that twist at the start of class, we want the back of your left shoulder to still be relaxed down. Then you can take your arms out beside you. Option to turn your head looking over your left shoulder. If you'd like it, option to place your right hand somewhere on your left thigh, just not directly on your left knee. Just adding the weight of your right hand, right arm can help to increase the stretch sensation through the left side of your waist. Take 3 more deep breaths in. Take one last inhale. And then use your exhale to slowly draw your legs back to center. Before we do the second side, it might feel really good to take your feet as wide as your mat or just wider than your hips and let both knees fall to one side and then the other. Take a few more windshield wipers each way. And then when you're ready, come back to that bridge type setup, both feet planted on the floor. Press down through your heels, lift your hips just enough to scooch them over to the right, and then knees come over to the left. So hips to the right, knees to the left. Take a moment to adjust however you might need. And then take your arms out beside you, no higher than shoulder height. Root down through the back of your right shoulder, and then maybe take your gaze over that right shoulder. Feel free to try placing your left hand somewhere on your right thigh, just like you did on the first side. And notice how that might shift things in the pose for you. Take 3 more deep breaths in. Take one last inhale. And then use your exhale to slowly come back to center. Feel free to repeat those windshield wipers, or perhaps hug your knees into your chest, whatever would feel best for you here. And then whenever you're ready, extend both legs long down your mat. Find your Shavasana. We're ending exactly where we started. Option to either have your palms resting on your lower belly, or to take your arms out beside you, palms facing up. It might help to have your palms on your lower belly. This can cue our bodies to breathe all the way down into our bellies, taking full body breaths. As you breathe here, remember that exercise from the start of practice, letting go of the tension you might be holding through your jaw. So try bringing a little space between your teeth again, even if that allows some breath to escape in and out of your mouth. And then try imagining the muscles of your face just sliding down the sides of your skull. Absolutely no effort happening here. Enjoy 10 more cycles of breath. If your mind is starting to wander, perhaps just try counting down your last 10 breaths here. Take one last big breath in. And then allow your exhale to ripple out through the rest of your body, perhaps starting to wiggle fingers and toes or gently rocking your head side to side. Take a moment to find a full body stretch. Zipper your legs together, take your arms up overhead. Take a deep breath in and flex every little muscle in your body that you can. And then exhale to let it go, be heavy. From here, turn onto one side again, use your bottom arm like a pillow. Take a moment to pause. And then use your exhale and the help of your top hand to slowly come up to seated. Take a moment to get comfortable. Stack your shoulders on top of your hips, roll your shoulders up, back, and down, and just place one hand on your chest, other hand on top. Just take 3 breaths here. Last deep breath in. Exhale, maybe sigh it out, letting go of anything you don't want to take with you into the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining for your morning yoga. Once again, my name is Lindsay. Namaste.